Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay, and it's time to give you another video with something versus the Pixel 6a. And this time, a few guys requested, and I was already going to do it anyway, but you guys have requested the Nord N20 versus the Pixel 6a. For your own personal reasons, you wanted this video. Let me tell you how I feel about both of these devices and point out some key features that are different on both. So, I brought the displays first here. I'm just pretty much playing the same video on here. And what you're looking at is a 6.43 inch on the top with the Nord, and then the Pixel has a 6.1. Now the difference in these displays, technology wise, is you're looking at an AMOLED display on top for the Nord and an OLED HDR for the Pixel. So looking at this in real, like my eyes looking at it, I can't tell the difference at all. The colors are being reproduced identical. Now, however, the device recording it is going to make it look, that's another story. And you have to just think of it that way. It also depends on what display you are watching it on. But I can tell you at first glance here, and just firsthand knowledge of both these in person here, they both look phenomenal. And so even though you have an AMOLED versus an OLED HDR, it doesn't really, I don't see much difference. And so I wanted to start there because they're both very beautiful. They're both 20:9, but the Pixel has a higher pixel count because it has 429 for the 6.1 inch display versus the 6.3. So, you know, when it comes to what either one of these is offering, I just have to say you can't go wrong with either one. They're both phenomenal looking displays. The advantage goes to Google though for the speaker. It has stereo speakers, and let's just play them here again for you and crank up the Pixel. So I got some exterior mods that I'm gonna do. I love the lights, the way they fade in like that. That's just beautiful. Just beautiful. Yeah. But overall, folks, this has been a great experience. I love the refreshed. A lot of you guys are getting your refresh now. I've seen some people really upset. I put up a video about it. A lot of you guys are really upset. So, I mean, you know, that's just what it is. You get a loudspeaker on one and stereo speakers on the other, which it's not a bad thing at all. I mean, I don't think you're going to go wrong with either one of these setups here. I think they're both fine for what they're offering for sound quality. The Pixel obviously sounds a lot louder because you have a speaker coming through the earpiece and out the bottom. So when we look at hardware, let's go over to hardware and design. Again, I had to start with the screens because some people were kind of wondering how that was going to be. The challenger is the Pixel. Now the Pixel has Google's latest design element for a their upcoming lineup, or at least their current lineup. This is the Pixel 6a. Obviously, it looks exactly like the Pixel 6 because this is a part of the Pixel 6 lineup. And so, but this one though, this one's really nice because it has matte sides. They've thinned out the camera bump, which is really nice. And they took away the headphone jack, but at launch, if you were smart, you did a trade-in and pre-ordered, or you just pre-ordered and you got free earbuds to offset that. But this two-tone design comes in 3 colors. It's just a really beautiful looking device. And then hardware-wise, you have an in-screen fingerprint reader on there, and you have a 6.1 inch square boxy design going on right there. Now with OnePlus, you have a rounded design, and also the camera's in the center on the Pixel, which I prefer on phones, and OnePlus has it in the left corner here. But you have a more rounded screen, you have a more rounded device, and it's just rounded all together. However, this hardware is beautiful too because you have a nice camera module set up on the back here. I like this camera module setup. You have matte sides on this one too, and then all of this device pretty much is matte, and it's like this crystallized look to it. It's difficult to get off on camera sometimes, but look at that shimmer. That's actually beautiful. And I just think it's a good look. And then it has an in-screen fingerprint reader too. They both have always on display, but the OnePlus's fingerprint reader definitely is faster than the Pixel's. But you know, as long as they both work, I'm fine with it. But the Pixel's isn't a slouch. It isn't a slouch. It's not a slouch. It's fast. It's just that OnePlus is known for having fast fingerprint readers, and then also another advantage for the OnePlus is it has facial recognition, which is extremely fast. Sometimes it unlocks before, look at that. It unlocks before you can even get things going. So, you know, OnePlus definitely takes the advantage on that. And another thing on the hardware that you can't see is OnePlus has an SD card slot. Yeah. Now, while these both have 128 gigs of storage and 6 gigs of RAM, the OnePlus has an SD card slot and facial recognition. Why Google hasn't implemented that on their own devices is so strange to me. The last time we had it was on the 4, which is the Pixel 4. That's just so weird that they haven't done that yet. And I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand why they haven't done that yet. So an advantage to the Pixel, though, it does have an IP67 rating, so you can get this thing kind of wet and, you know, get a little dust on it and it should survive. But that's hardware, and I think both of these are good, folks. Internally, you can't see it. While the Pixel doesn't have SD card slot, it has UFS 3.1, while the Nord still has 2.2. Jay, what does that mean? That means transfer speeds. I personally transfer things on and off of devices for content. Like the camera footage that you'll see in this video, I have to shoot it on each device, and then I have to get it onto the Mac to put it, I have to transfer it off, and I use some kind of dongle or something, a Type-C dongle that I have. Let me see here, I got a bunch of them. I'll typically use this one right here, and because it has Type-C, and then it also has this as well. So I'll use this to transfer the data, and then get it onto the computer, and the transfer speeds are in fact faster. They're not like mind-blowing faster, but they're faster. And that's what that means. So how about the cameras? The cameras on here are great. So what you'll notice about the cameras is this. First of all, the OnePlus doesn't record on 4K or on the front or the back. It only does 1080p. So I shot a video in 1080p at the peak that it can do. It can do 1080p and 720, and it's good footage, folks. It's not a slouch. The OnePlus Nord has fantastic cameras. And the crazy part is it has a f1.8 64 megapixel dual pixel autofocus camera on the rear. So it's really good. It's just limited to 1080p, again, which is not bad quality. And also there's no ultra wide. There's only a macro and a depth sensor. That's what these are on the back, macro and depth. But when it comes to the Pixel, you're gonna know that this one records in 4K 60 on the rear of this peak, but I decided to put it to 1080p to match the OnePlus Nord here, just to make it a little bit more balanced playing field so you can see what it can do as well, because it has some killer features in here. It has the pixel shift, auto HDR, OIS, EIS. It has a lot of functionality in this camera. So the stabilization is really solid on the Pixel 6a. I mean, some of the best stabilization you can get on any device current day. And so, yeah, the video cameras are better on the Pixel 6a in a sense on numbers, but when you match them 1080p to 1080p, it's still fairly, it's fair game. I mean, it's a really good set of cameras on both. I'm not going to shine on it, The Pixel may win, but, it's being allowed to do so. Again, the processor might be limiting the Nord, why it can't do 4K and things like that. But neither one of them record anything higher than 1080p 30 on the front. It's just that the Pixel, it has an 8 megapixel at f.2, and this has a 16 megapixel at f.4, and they're both wide, but the Pixel can do auto HDR, and this does HDR, and this does panorama if you need that. So that's good. So, the cameras on here are phenomenal, man. I mean, and as far as software goes, here's where OnePlus wins, in my opinion, for tweaking and things like that. You have a section that says personalization. This is just fantastic. This is just a must. You have to have something to make a device great, and OnePlus has always been known for making a device great with customizations. On the other hand, with Google, if I want to customize my device like deeply like I do with the OnePlus, I purchased Nova a while back, and I've had Nova for a long time, and I can make it look different in any kind of way, because with the Pixel, you can't remove that area at the top, which I really don't like. I got a video coming out on that at some point. You have to use a different launcher in order to remove that bar at the top, because it's redundant to have weather and time and date there when you got it right here on these beautiful widgets. So this is how you can customize the Pixel by using another launcher, but unfortunately, that's how it's done with stock Android with the Pixel. You're going to have to do that if you want to do some serious customizations. And that's just what it is. But OnePlus, definitely gets the edge in some form or another with the software in that respect. Now, battery life is something that, you know, this has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery on the Nord, and the Pixel has a 4410. And the Pixel, believe it or not, handles it. I mean, that little difference in battery you can't really tell. These both have phenomenal battery life, and the Pixel, while I haven't had it that long, it is definitely settling in, and the battery life is getting better and better and better and better. And the phone is getting used to my usage. While with the Nord, I've had it for a lot longer, so you know it knows my patterns and it knows what to do. It knows how I use it, but it's still getting. But both of these have phenomenal battery life for the size of these batteries. It should. And I mean, we're talking about a 4400 or 4410 to be exact, and then a 4500. They both should do great on battery if you were concerned about that. The advantage though goes to the Nord when it comes to how fast they charge. This has a 33 watt charger in the box. The Pixel doesn't come with one, and you know, and that's unfortunate. But you're gonna have to get a different charger in order to charge. But another advantage to the Pixel is it has the delivery power of 3.0 for the USB. So there's trade-offs. Now, where the Pixel doesn't win, unfortunately, is the price. This costs $300 and this costs $450. So you need to determine what you're gonna, decide which one you like for whatever reason you like it. That's what it comes down to. This wins in price, hands down. You know, little small things, headphone jack, things like that. It just makes it, SD card. Those two things might be important to a person, and you get a $300 price tag. Go with the OnePlus, because I was saying the Pixel is so technical and it has so many things for that $450 price tag. And again, for those that are going to say it's not a fair comparison, this is a 6nm chip, 5nm chip, both very powerful. Both are doing great. Both can flow along and fight against the best of them. So it just comes to personal preference. But calling it as I see it, the OnePlus obviously has a lower price, so it wins. So which one of these would you take if you had the opportunity to buy both? If you had $500 and you wanted to buy a device, and you had to choose between both of these, and it's not so much about saving money, it's about which one do you like better. I just threw out $500 at me so you can have more than what's available, but you just wanted to buy one, and based on my comparison, do you think I hit on some keynotes for you? Was it enough? If I didn't cover something, you can ask that question down below, and I'll be sure to try to get to you as soon as I can. Here it is, folks, the Pixel 6a versus the OnePlus Nord N20. I think this is such a good matchup right here. It is hard for me to pick a winner. The Pixel beats it out in areas, and the OnePlus beats this phone out in areas, but this is across the board for all phones. But if I'm going with one, I'll probably go with the Pixel because I can do 4K. I can do 4K 60. It has better stabilization. It has stereo speakers. It has an IP rating, and the battery life is good. It's got the Tensor chip. I can do a little bit more. I do miss out on an SD card and a headphone jack, but I think the trade-off is, for me personally, will be worth it. And it's a little bit smaller, so I like that. I can't wait to get my hands on the Pixel 7 though, or 7 Pro, either one of those. I think that's going to be fantastic. I think the Pro is going to be phenomenal. So what do you guys think? Fair? Was I fair? I think I was pretty fair. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.